On Global TV News Prime, President Tinubu asks Senate to confirm new service chiefs. In business, Senate commends Tinubu anti-graft agencies over Nigeria's removal from corruption grey list. And on the foreign scene, Ivory Coast President Al-Hassan Al-Khattar wins reflection with 89.77% votes. And in sports, House of Representatives to probe Nigeria Football Federation over alleged mismanagement of $25 million FIFA CAF grants. Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Prime on Global Television. I am Jumai Manson. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. Now the news in full. President Bola Tinubu has asked the Senate to confirm the newly appointed service chiefs following a major reshuffle in the nation's military leadership. Senate President Godswill Akpabio announced a request during Tuesday's plenary, saying that the nominations include General Olufemi Oluyede as Chief of Defense Staff, Major General Wahidi Shaibu as Chief of Army Staff, Rear Admiral Idi Abbas as Chief of Naval Staff, Air Vice Marshal Kennedy Aneke as Chief of Air Staff, and Major General Emmanuel Edendeyi as Chief of Defense Intelligence. In his letter to the upper chamber, President Tinubu urged lawmakers to accord the request expeditious consideration, emphasizing the urgency of reinforcing Nigeria's security architecture. The National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu, has warned that any form of violence during the Anambra State governorship election will attract a firm and decisive response from security agencies. Ribadu, who was represented by Hassan Yahaya Abdullahi, Director of Internal Security at the Office of the NSA, issued the warning on Tuesday in Abuja during a meeting of the Interagency Consultative Committee on Election Security with officials of the Independent National Electoral Commission. The NSA assured that the federal government has put in place comprehensive security measures to ensure a peaceful, free, and credible election on November 8, 2025. The House of Representatives resumed legislative business for a new week with Speaker Tajuddin Abbas chairing plenary, while national accountability and infrastructure needs took center stage. A major item of debate focused on Nigeria's football governance as lawmakers raised concerns over alleged misappropriation of FIFA and CAF development funds by the Nigerian Football Federation. National Assembly correspondent Anete Patrick tells us more. We apologize. That report will be brought in our subsequent bulletin. Nigeria and the European Union have resolved to straighten diplomatic relations and chart a new chapter in interstate and interparliamentary relations. Ramsey Enoch Agbo reports.
Nigeria has become the 77th shareholder of the European Bank for Reconstruction and Development, EBRD, as part of efforts to deepen its long-standing partnership with the European Union, EU. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Yusuf Tuga, announced this during a meeting with a visiting delegation from the European Parliament's Foreign Affairs Committee in Abuja.
We have a lot of lessons to learn from the European Union that incidentally also is still talking about how to integrate more. So it gives us hope, and it is clearly a model that we seek to emulate, and we are rest assured here to do whatever is necessary to strengthen those ties, the existing ties, and to continue to work and collaborate with the European Union.
Speaking on behalf of the delegation, David McAllister, a member of the European Parliament's Foreign Affairs Committee, said the six-member team was visiting Nigeria to better understand developments in Africa, particularly in West Africa, as he described Nigeria as a strategic partner and a major political and economic power in the region.
Nigeria is considered as a strategic partner for the European Union. We have a long-lasting, good and close relationship based on shared values and also on joint interests. The European Parliament's Foreign Affairs Committee travels with smaller delegations a few times a year to other parts of the world, and we mainly travel to get to know better the countries, to understand better the challenges these countries are facing, also the opportunities these countries have, and we are also there to very carefully listen.
This visit was a reflection of Europe's recognition of Nigeria's central role in Africa's future. Ramsey Enoch Agbo reporting for Global TV News.
The Tertiary Education Trust Fund has commissioned a new Faculty of Social Sciences lecture theatre and office complex at the Nasarawa State University. KEFI reaffirming its commitment to improving infrastructure and academic standards in Nigeria's tertiary institutions. Let's take a quick look at the report. The commissioning ceremony held at the university's main campus in KEFI, dignitaries, university officials, and TED Fund representatives to celebrate the completion of the 2020-2021 Merge Annual Intervention Project, a 717 million naira facility designed to enhance teaching, learning, and research. Right Honorable Aminu Masari described the project as proof of TED Fund's transparency and impact in higher education. He commended the university's management led by Professor Saadatu Hassan Liman for ensuring the judicious use of the intervention funds.
This project stands as yet another visible testimony of our collective commitment to strengthening Nigeria's higher education through Nigerian higher education system in line with the renewed hope agenda of His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu GCFR.
Representing the Executive Secretary, Architect Babatunde Olajide said the timely completion of the project reflects strong collaboration between TED Fund, the university, and the state government. He affirmed the fund's commitment to continued support for quality infrastructure and innovation-driven learning nationwide.
On behalf of the Board of Trustees, management and staff of TED Fund, I wish to commend the leadership of the university for their dedication and prudent utilization of intervention funds granted by TED Fund. The timely completion of any project is indeed an accomplishment that is worth applauding.
Vice-Chancellor Professor Saadatu Hassan Liman appreciated TED Fund's transformative interventions, noting that positive impact on teaching, research, and students' access to quality education.
Bearing in mind we have 4 campuses, that means that at the end of the day, Nasarawa State University KEFI will be paying more than almost up to 55 million every month for the power they are consuming in their university. And therefore, we are calling on TED Fund and passionately requesting to also pay attention to the issue of power supply in higher institutions of learning in Nigeria.
Jumai Manson reporting. The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, says Abuja's smart city vision is transforming the nation's capital into a modern of innovation, sustainability, and citizen-centered development. The minister made this known at the 2025 Asia Pacific Cities Summit and Mayors Forum in Dubai. Kabir Hassan tells us more.
The FCT minister joined global mayors and city leaders to share Abuja progress toward becoming the world-class smart city. He said the administration's smart city vision is anchored on 5 key pillars: urban mobility, sustainability, public safety, and digital governance, and economic empowerment, all designed to enhance infrastructure and improve service delivery to residents.
A smart city should be a city that responds to the needs of its citizens, which is an efficient. Abuja's smart city vision is anchored, 1, on urban mobility in terms of providing infrastructure, national transportation network, and try to reduce traffic congestion. It also has to be dependent on sustainable urban development.
The minister highlighted partnership with international agencies, including JICA on smart water metering and Chinese support for intelligence traffic lights, alongside ongoing projects like the Abuja City Walk and Abuja Industrial Park. He said under President Bola Tinubu renewed hope agenda, the FCT is expanding transport networks, promoting renewable energy, deploying CCTV surveillance, and creating digital governance platforms such as FCT call center and digitized land registry.
The federal government realizes that it is an important approach, and therefore to achieve this, we have what we call National Employment Database that makes us to profile and note the number of youths that are unemployed and underemployed.
Wike also revealed plans for nation employment database to connect young people to job opportunities through the Abuja Enterprise Agency, describing it as a vital step toward empowering the city youths and driving innovation. The FCT minister was accompanied by senior officials of the FCTA as Abuja positioned itself as a leading example of smart and sustainable urban growth in Africa. Kabir Hassan reporting for Global TV News.
The National Association of Unemployed Nigerians Living with Disabilities has called on the government to provide employment opportunities to members. Unemployment remains a pressing issue in Nigeria, and persons living with disabilities are urging greater support. Over now to Obong Osoro's report.
Speaking in Abuja, the association said that despite having skills and qualifications, many of its members continue to face barriers in securing employment due to discrimination and lack of accessibility in workplaces. They called on both the federal and state governments to implement inclusive policies, ensuring that persons with disabilities can contribute meaningfully to the nation's workforce. The association also urged private organizations to open their doors to persons with disabilities, noting that inclusion is not just a moral obligation, but a step towards national development. Ubong Usoro for Global TV.
You are watching the live broadcast of News Prime. When News Prime returns, House of Representatives probe Nigeria Football Federation over alleged mismanagement of $25 million FIFA CAF grants. Details coming shortly, plus business and foreign stories on the other side of this break. Please stay with us. You're welcome back, and if you're just tuning in, this is News Prime on Global Television. Thank you for staying with us. In business now, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has pledged to support Dangote Refinery's plan to expand production capacity to 1.4 million barrels per day from 650,000 barrels per day. Tinubu gave the assurance at the 19th edition of the OTL African Downstream Conference and Exhibition in Lagos. The president, who was represented by the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Oil, Hanaki Lapoberi, described the project as a game changer for Nigeria, West Africa, and the global energy market. Senate has commended President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, and key anti-graft and financial institutions for their coordinated effort that led to the removal of Nigeria from the Financial Action Task Force FATF grey list. The commendation followed a motion of urgent national importance sponsored by Senator Emmanuel Dende, APC Benue Northwest. Topsy Gimba reports.
Senator Emmanuel Dende noted that the first recent announcement marks a major milestone in Nigeria's anti-money laundering and counter-terrorism financing reforms, reflecting the country's strong commitment to global financial integrity standards. He recalled that Nigeria's previous inclusion on the grey list has exposed the country to intense international scrutiny, reducing investor confidence and restricting access to global financial markets.
The fact that Nigeria has been delisted from the grey list, and the resultant effect is that immediately Nigeria was delisted, Naira appreciated. Even at the black market, when it was selling at 1,485, dropped down, Naira appreciated to 1,475.
Lawmakers expressed delight that Nigeria's removal from the list has boosted investor confidence, restored the country's financial credibility, and reaffirmed its commitment to transparency and accountability. The Senate further observed that the delisting will improve trade facilitation and remittance inflows as Nigerian financial institutions now enjoy smoother and faster cross-border transactions. In adopting the motion, the upper chamber commended President Tinubu, the Senate President, and all relevant agencies for their leadership and collaboration in achieving the milestone.
Will go a long way in boosting investor confidence in Nigeria, because this singular act has brought our anti-financial crime laws in tandem with international best practices.
1 year, they brought a lot of integrity into our economy. And that is the result we are getting now. Last week, we remember, Senate President, you allowed a motion to commend EFCC for the work that they are doing.
Well, you have been able to represent Nigeria effectively. Even at the International IMF meeting, you were able to get them to apologize to Nigeria for the statement they made.
The Senate also urged regulatory, financial, and law enforcement agencies to consolidate on the gains by maintaining continuous compliance with international standards and strengthening institutional coordination to prevent any relapse. It further mandated its Committee on Anti-Corruption and Financial Crimes to sustain oversight and legislative reviews that will enhance Nigeria's financial governance framework and ensure the country remains a global benchmark for transparency and integrity. Topsy Gimba, reporting for Global Television News.
On the foreign desk now, the International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Society says Hurricane Melissa, a Category 5 storm, could affect 1.5 million people in Jamaica alone, warning that the entire population will feel the impact of the storm. The Category 5 storm, which could be the island's most violent on record, is on a painstakingly slow path through the Caribbean and expected to make landfall on the Jamaican coast today. Uyi Agbomofwegbe tells us more.
Speaking from Trinidad and Tobago, Nasifo Mgendi, International Federation of Red Cross's head of delegation for English and Dutch-speaking Caribbean, told reporters in Geneva that the number could be an underestimate.
The storm itself shifted a little bit west. Initially, it was heading the eastern part, and that means it moved away from the metropolitan area of the Kingston, and which is a high population area. It has gone a little bit west, but it doesn't mean that that's everyone else's bed. Its bandwidth is massive.
Ngedi said the Jamaican Red Cross had mobilized at its highest level, but noted that coastal communities remain financially strained, while informal settlements are highly exposed to destructive winds and already saturated soils.
1.5 million people may be impacted, but that's an underestimate, because the impacts on people will include disruptions of essential services, impacts on markets, schools will be closed, and landslides will block roads. It means the entire populations may feel the impact one way or the other.
And Claire Fontaine, the World Meteorological Organization's tropical cyclone specialist, says the wind for Jamaica is expected to reach about 280 kilometers per hour, with gusts picking up to 350 kilometers per hour. Uyi Agmofwegbe, reporting for Global TV News.
Ivory Coast President Alassane Ouattara has secured a fourth term with 89.77% of the vote, according to provisional result announced following an election marked by historically low turnout and the exclusion of his main political rivals. The 83-year-old incumbent won a commanding 89.7% of the vote. His closest rivals, former Commerce Minister Jean-Louis Billon and former First Lady Simone Gbagbo, conceded defeat after capturing just 3% and 2.4% of the vote, respectively. Billon congratulated Ouattara and Gbagbo followed suit, ensuring a peaceful outcome, unlike the violent 2010 post-election crisis. The African Union chairman has condemned alleged autocrats and reported war crimes in Sudan's strategic hub of El Fasher and called for an immediate halt to fighting. In a statement on X, the African Union Commission chairperson Mahmoud Ali Yusuf expressed deep concern over the escalating violence and reported atrocities in El Fasher while condemning alleged war crimes and ethnically targeted killings of civilians. He also called for an immediate cessation of hostilities and opening of humanitarian corridors to allow life-saving aid to reach affected populations. In sports now, the House of Representatives has resolved to investigate the Nigerian Football Federation, NFF, over alleged mismanagement of $25 million in financial grants received from FIFA and the Confederation African Football, CAF, between 2015 and 2025. And the decision followed adoption of a motion of urgent public importance co-sponsored by Adedayo Adeshola from Lagos State and Felix Owoike from Rivers State. Adeshola said the NFF had received millions of dollars in development grants but failed to invest the funds appropriately, contributing to Nigerians' declining football performance. It was a day of celebration in Abuja as FCT Golf chapter joined millions across the country to commemorate Nigeria's 65th independence anniversary with a special golf tournament and cultural reception. Samuel Odi reports for Global TV. That report will be brought in our subsequent bulletin. And that's it on News Prime. And here's a quick reminder of our top stories again. On Global TV News Prime, we brought to you that President Bola Tinubu has asked the Senate to confirm the newly appointed service chiefs following a major reshuffle in the nation's military leadership. In business, Senate has commended President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, and key anti-graft and financial institutions for their coordinated effort that led to the removal of Nigeria from the Financial Action Task Force, FATF, grey list. And on the foreign scene, Ivory Coast President Alassane Ouattara has secured a fourth term with 89.77% of the vote, according to provisional results announced following an election marked by historically low turnout and the exclusion of his main political rivals. And finally, in sports, the House of Representatives has resolved to investigate the Nigerian Football Federation, NFF, over alleged mismanagement of $25 million in financial grants received from FIFA and the Confederation African Football, CAF, between 2015 and 2025. And that's it on Global TV News Prime. A quick reminder that Global TV is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms now showing on your screen by using @GlobalTVNG. I am Jumai Manson. Thank you for watching.